There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong.
It's great, but I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
We're not ready for you to be dead, Chadwick.
But I am. I'm dead.
I know you have also inspired and motivated others. An offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold.
He did all he could do with what he was given, and he left it here for us to enjoy. Chad will live forever.
Is Hollywood covering up the truth about Chadwick Boseman's death? Denzel Washington is now confronting the industry with shocking new evidence.
I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite.
So what secrets are hidden behind Chadwick's passing, and what's Hollywood trying to keep from us?
Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
Get ready as we uncover the explosive claims and dive into the drama that could change everything we thought we knew. It turns out that Chadwick Boseman and Denzel Washington were totally destined to cross paths on their paths to success. Chadwick didn't hold back in giving Denzel a huge shout out, saying how much Denzel's support shaped his career and life. It was a really cool way of showing his gratitude.
Imagine receiving a letter that your tuition for that summer was paid for and that your benefactor was none other than the dopest actor on the planet.
Denzel, on the other hand, views himself as just a part of a bigger story. The entertainment world has seen its fair share of tragedies, with plenty of celebrities, from singers to artists, passing away under mysterious circumstances. A lot of these stars were dealing with their struggles privately, while the public thought their lives were all glitz and glam. Sadly, this was true for Chadwick Boseman as well. Chadwick Boseman, who became a major icon for both the Black community and the world before his passing, had strong connections with many people in Hollywood. But one of his closest, yet less talked about, relationships was with veteran actor Denzel Washington. Boseman often called Denzel the dopest actor on the planet and saw him as a father figure in the industry. This bond was especially clear when Boseman's heartfelt speeches about Denzel began circulating on social media, leaving many people moved and impressed by his deep respect for Denzel. It turns out that Boseman's adoration for Denzel Washington wasn't a one-way street. The Equalizer star didn't just sit back and let Boseman's praise slide by. He had his own emotional moment when his former protege gushed about him. The whole thing caused quite a stir on social media, with fans split between finding it heartwarming and feeling like Denzel's reaction was a bit overdue. But here's the real tea. Boseman's public persona is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to who he truly was and the behind-the-scenes drama he dealt with in Hollywood.
And I've basically been holding this secret in my whole career. When I came back, I got a beneficiary letter, and it said, Denzel Washington paid for you.
Almost everyone knows about Chadwick Boseman's meteoric rise to Hollywood fame, from his standout roles in Marvel's Avengers to leading his own superhero franchise. His journey to the top was nothing short of extraordinary, but here's the bittersweet part. His big breakthrough came later in his career than many might realize. A lot of people think Boseman's Marvel success was a straightforward ride to the top, but that's not the full story. Before hitting it big with superhero roles, he faced a lot of struggles and setbacks. Boseman himself credited his breakthrough to Denzel Washington's generosity. Despite being a major star, Denzel didn't just keep to himself. He's been all about helping other talents shine in Hollywood. We don't often hear about Denzel Washington's generosity because he's always preferred to stay out of the spotlight. But Chadwick Boseman made sure to shine a light on Washington's kindness. At the 2019 AFI Lifetime Achievement Award event, Boseman gave a moving tribute to Washington, sharing that Denzel had secretly covered the tuition for a summer acting program while Boseman was at Howard University. He recounted, "Many of you know that Mr. Washington, when asked by Felicia Rashad to help 9 theater students from Howard University get into a summer program at the British Academy of Dramatic Acting in Oxford, agreed quietly and generously. I was one of those students. Imagine getting a letter saying your tuition was covered by none other than the dopest actor on the planet." The footage of Boseman delivering a heartfelt commencement speech at his alma mater has since gone viral, touching many after his passing.
Offering from a sage and a king is more than silver and gold. It is a seed of hope, a bud of faith, There is no Black Panther without Denzel.
The actor's speech has resonated deeply with people, and many have openly discussed its impact. One person wrote, "The fact that he was terrible ill when giving this speech is incredible. He loved to make his dream true, not to catch some easy tears. What a wonderful person we lost." Another one added, "When he said there is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington, man, that hit so hard. Two great, phenomenal actors, R.I.P. Chadwick, and God bless Denzel Washington." Alongside following the path laid out for him and helping others, Boseman was determined to leave a lasting legacy. A well-known part of his legacy includes his frequent hospital visits, especially as his superhero persona brought joy to kids. What many didn't realize at the time was that Boseman was grappling with serious personal challenges behind the scenes.
Came in and he came, he hugged me. It's like literally, I think it's the best response I've ever gotten as far as the character goes. So, thank you.
When Matt Maggard, the father of Hayden Maggard, a boy whom Boseman had visited in the hospital, found out on August 28, 2020, that Boseman had been battling cancer during those visits, he was overwhelmed with emotion. Matt shared, "Nobody truly understands unless they've been through it. Seeing these kids at St. Jude is already heart-wrenching for a healthy person. But for someone who's been diagnosed and undergoing treatment for 2 years to face that, that's just incredible." Boseman became selective about the roles he accepted, choosing characters he was proud to portray and whose stories were socially significant. He sought roles that showcased men who made a difference. This intentional approach took years to bear fruit, but it ultimately paid off when he was cast as the lead in 42, portraying the great Jackie Robinson.
We're around here assuming that the Black characters in the show are criminals, on and deadbeat parents. Then that would probably be stereotypical.
Boseman's dedication to his roles was remarkable. He learned baseball to embody Jackie Robinson in 42, mastered dance to portray James Brown in Get On Up, and further showcased his versatility by portraying Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court justice in Marshall. Then came T'Challa in Black Panther. Even in his role as a superhero, Boseman fought to humanize T'Challa. One significant aspect was his insistence on using an African accent for the character. While Marvel initially preferred an English or American accent, Boseman advocated for an African accent to authentically represent the character's heritage and cultural background. "It felt to me like a deal breaker," he told The Hollywood Reporter. "I was like, no, this is such an important factor that if we lose this right now, what else are we going to throw away for the sake of making people feel comfortable?" Following its release, Black Panther swiftly became the highest-grossing superhero movie ever in the United States. Despite the immense demand for his talent, Boseman remained selective in his choice of projects, carefully considering the stories he wanted to tell through his roles. "You become more and more selective because you realize how much it takes out of you," Boseman told Hunger magazine in 2017. "Some days you come home and you realize there's this extra psychological energy that you've been using to stay in that place for an entire day. You feel the fatigue of carrying around this other way of thinking, this different body, this different life. It can be emotional, it can be physical, and sometimes there's a little bit of trauma with that. By the end of the process, you just want to get to the place where you're no longer carrying the weight of that person. So when you choose the roles, I think you're very selective about it because you value your time on this earth. It's so valuable because you're spending 4 or 5 or 6 months with this character, if not longer. You make those choices very, very carefully." Well, theories also circulated that Boseman died right after receiving his Oscar, and people could not stop relating to the Oscar curse about which Denzel has also talked. Just like Boseman was focused on rewriting stereotypes about Black people through his roles, Denzel Washington has been fighting that battle long before Boseman entered the scene. It appears that Boseman may have learned many valuable lessons from Washington. Over the years, Washington has been vocal about the racial challenges he faced on his journey to stardom, from being overlooked at major award shows due to his race, to experiencing discrimination while filming in his own country, and even being subjected to racial slurs.
I had a part in a movie in 1986. I called it They Couldn't Kill.
Hollywood's brightest luminaries graced the Oscars this year, each harboring aspirations of clutching the coveted Academy Award. Considered the pinnacle of cinematic recognition, an Oscar win possesses the transformative power to catapult an actor into instant global stardom, unlocking new avenues of opportunity. Yet amidst the glittering allure of the golden statuette, whispers of a darker phenomenon persist, the infamous Oscars curse.
This is one of the happiest moments of my life. And I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of the awards. For your kindness, it has made me feel very, very humble.
It's rather surprising to note the extensive roster of actors who've fallen victim to the Oscars curse, spanning from Hattie McDaniel to Morgan Freeman. Curiously, the Oscar accolade hasn't seemed to bode well for many black actors. The Academy's penchant for gravitating toward weighty, dramatic performances in what's often termed as Oscar bait projects seems to overshadow the artistry inherent in comedic acting. Even in the realm of serious roles, black actors find themselves pigeonholed into portrayals of slaves, individuals in feminine attire, or characters enduring oppression, a stark and limiting representation.
Turn the heat up. Back there it's nice and warm, but over here, ooh, it's cold as hell and freezing. This is very nice.
Firstly, Eddie Murphy has only received one Oscar nomination, and it was for his role in Bill Condon's musical Dreamgirls. Murphy himself has acknowledged in interviews that he may not have exerted as much effort in that film as he does in most of his comedic roles.
One of the greatest, funniest people of all time was George Carlin, and he received this award posthumously.
One performance that's still getting a lot of attention in hindsight is Chadwick Boseman's role in The Nutty Professor. He used makeup and prosthetics to bring the whole Clump family to life, showcasing his versatility. This technique wasn't new to the industry. It was similar to what was done in the Coming to America films, especially in that memorable barbershop scene.
Yeah, I ain't saying Clay ain't bad. I'm just saying I stopped liking Cassius Clay once he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. What kind of shit is that?
Wait a second.
The Oscars have been under fire for their lack of diversity, and the drama surrounding it is pretty juicy. Remember back in 2019 when Kevin Hart had to step down as host because of some old homophobic tweets that resurfaced? That was a major scandal. And then there's the #OscarsSoWhite campaign, which has been calling out the Academy for its poor track record on diversity. It's gotten so bad that some folks are now calling Hollywood's Walk of Fame the Walk of Shame for its lack of stars that truly represent the diversity of the industry. The Oscars might be glamorous, but their diversity issues have definitely left a sour note.
Kevin Hart has stepped down from hosting this year's Oscars. He put out a statement on Twitter tonight saying, "I have made the choice to step down."
On a February afternoon in 1940s America, actress Hattie McDaniel made history by winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Gone with the Wind. She became the first African American to snag this prestigious award. While her victory was a groundbreaking moment in cinema history, the celebration was marred by the harsh reality of segregation. Despite her win, McDaniel had to attend the Oscar ceremony as a whites-only event, which meant she was kept separate from the other attendees. Instead of being a triumphant celebration, the event was overshadowed by the segregation that marked the era.
I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel.
80 years on, and the film industry is still wrestling with routine discrimination, even though there's been some progress in diversity. The 2020 Oscars were a prime example, marred by racial controversies that seem all too familiar. One notable snub was Lupita Nyong'o's exclusion from the nominations for her stellar performance in the 2019 film Us. Such oversights highlight ongoing issues in the industry, where despite some strides, many feel that the Oscars still have a long way to go in truly embracing diversity.
And the Oscar goes to Lupita Nyong'o.
Eddie Murphy has highlighted a troubling issue in Hollywood: undisclosed contracts that actors sign, which seem to play a part in the industry's discrimination. Murphy suggests that winning an Academy Award could be linked to these deals, implying that it might lead some actors to become sellouts. This isn't just Murphy's concern. Many celebrities have shared cautionary tales about getting too cozy with the top brass in the entertainment world. Denzel Washington has also chimed in, not by naming names, but by critiquing his colleagues for their inflated egos and misplaced self-importance. It's like a chorus of voices warning against the pitfalls of aligning too closely with the industry's power players.
People say, oh, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax.
Denzel Washington has been vocal about the growing frustration with the woke Hollywood elites, who often come off as self-righteous and superior. He's criticized these figures for taking the stage to pat themselves on the back and offer life advice while living in luxury. Despite the criticisms, not all famous stars fit this mold. Denzel himself, who has won an Oscar, is known for keeping things in perspective. He doesn't think making movies is all that tough compared to other demanding jobs, like being a garbage collector or facing the realities of war. Washington's comments reflect his belief that true value lies in addressing more fundamental challenges, rather than just basking in Hollywood's glamour. Similar to Eddie's and Denzel's willingness to address the industry's shortcomings, other celebrities have also spoken out about peculiar occurrences within the entertainment world. One such individual is Cat Williams, who took a more direct approach to shedding light on issues within the industry. The comedian recently made pointed comments about his industry peer, Jamie Foxx, suggesting that Foxx may have compromised his integrity for the sake of an award. But that's only part of what Williams had to say about the actor. Around a decade ago, during a performance in Los Angeles, Cat Williams openly discussed a rumor regarding Jamie Foxx's sexual orientation. He straightforwardly stated, "Who's gay? Jamie Foxx." Williams even went as far as to mention a name, claiming, "I can even tell you the name of the dude he F. His name is Marcus Anthony. He's the only dude signed to Jamie Foxx's label." Then the comedian kept going and said a lot of negative things about Foxx. He used strong language and said, "Forget Jamie Foxx and the money he got from Django Unchained." He also said, "They gave me the script and I said, any guy who does this should die." And the next thing I knew, Jamie Foxx was getting ready for the movie. After that, the comedian leveled further accusations against Foxx, suggesting that Foxx made significant sacrifices to secure an Oscar. Cat Williams appeared to believe that Foxx's path to success was marked by numerous challenging moments, which have led him to surmise that Foxx may have indeed sacrificed something significant along the way. Jamie Foxx is a multi-talented individual who began his career with humorous sketches and subsequently transitioned into acting, ultimately earning an Academy Award for his achievements. However, the situation may have been more complex than Cat Williams portrayed it. According to reports, Jamie Foxx didn't initially view his Oscar nomination with the seriousness it deserved. Like a typical newcomer in the industry, he thought there was no chance of winning against the seasoned nominees. As it turns out, the industry's decision makers may have had a plan in place from the very beginning.
What happened was that I didn't have a clique. I didn't have a crew in LA, and everybody had a clique. The Wayans had a crew. It was like 9,000 of them.
Seems like it was so hard for Jamie to get an Academy Award. "When I was up for the Oscar, I didn't really think it was a big deal," Foxx explained. "I thought there's no way I'm going to win that thing. I saw Oscar time as a reason to have fun. I was like, oh, I'm nominated. Let's celebrate with champagne and party." I remember having those photo-taking people following me for the first time. I went a bit crazy. At the Golden Globes, I had some champagne and I acted pretty silly on the red carpet. Looking back, I realized I wasn't respectful to the whole thing. Foxx talked about going to the show with a friend and being nominated for many awards that year. On the red carpet, he and his friend were shouting about how many awards they were up for that night in a way that seems immature, he said. His publicist called him and scolded him for his behavior, saying, "What are you doing? Can't you see how embarrassing this is? You have a chance, but you need to act a certain way." In hindsight, it appears that the nomination may have served as a way for the industry elites to prepare Jamie Foxx for what lay ahead. It seems Foxx had reached a pivotal juncture in his career where he was on the cusp of being inducted into the upper echelons of the industry.
And then I get a call. And on the other end of the phone says, "Hi, Jamie Foxx." So who's this? "This is Oprah."
The initial intervention to guide Jamie Foxx on the path expected by the industry's elites came from a renowned media mogul. This prominent television personality personally reached out to Foxx, delivering a candid message that he was potentially blowing it. She told me, "You really have a great chance to do something that is wonderful, and the character you played touched so many people, but not if you act like this," Foxx said.
"Okay, you want to meet who you're supposed to meet here?" I said, "Yeah." "He's right there." And it was Sidney Poitier.
The influential media figure appeared to have a strategic plan in mind. She invited Jamie Foxx to a gathering at Quincy Jones's residence, where Foxx had the opportunity to interact with several actors and actresses he had long admired from his youth. They expressed their admiration for his work and extended their congratulations. However, the primary reason the media boss brought Foxx to the party was for him to meet one particular individual, Sidney Poitier. Standing in a tuxedo in the corner was Sidney Poitier, Fox said. I walked up to him and he said, I watched your performance and I grew 2 inches. I leave you with one thing, responsibility. Following his introduction to Sidney Poitier, Jamie Foxx's career took a significant upswing with numerous major awards and increasing success. However, as he appeared to have a change of heart, he found himself embroiled in a misconduct investigation, and even after surviving that, he ended up in the hospital. This highlights that even individuals of Fox's stature aren't immune to the influence of powerful figures within the industry.
Every time there's success, you have to be prepared for the darkness because you can't have sunshine without darkness. So it's always this balance.
The industry elites have also potentially attempted to ruin the careers of other actors who sought to distance themselves from their control, including Cuba Gooding. Cuba Gooding's story is somewhat different from the typical narrative surrounding famous personalities. The Hollywood power players not only derailed his popularity, but also disrupted his life beyond the glamorous world of entertainment. However, it's important to note that Gooding also played a role in his own downfall. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, Cuba Gooding enjoyed significant success in Hollywood, garnering attention for his roles in TV shows like Hill Street Blues and MacGyver. He reached new heights with his performance in John Singleton's acclaimed film, Boys and the Hood.
I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Fuck shit. Stupid motherfucker. Fuck you. Fuck this shit.
Cuba Gooding Jr. won an Oscar in 1997 for his work in Jerry Maguire, but almost 2 decades later, the Academy Awards have failed to make much progress. Following the widespread disappointment of this year's Oscar nominees, which did not recognize a single actor of color, Variety asked Gooding Jr. his opinion on the #Oscars So White backlash. You want it to be diverse. You want the work to show, Gooding Jr. told Variety and other reporters this weekend at the Television Critics Association press tour in Pasadena, Calif. I wanted straight out of Compton to get something. But, it's this conversation that makes people think harder when the nominations come around for next year. Anyways, the troubles for Cuba Gooding Jr. began in June 2019 when USA Today reported an investigation into an incident where he was accused of touching a woman inappropriately at a New York City bar while he was intoxicated. Subsequently, Gooding voluntarily went to the police and was arrested.
When a woman alleges Gooding touched her inappropriately at a different nightclub, and another incident where he allegedly grabbed a woman's breast at this bar in June.
This proved to be a turning point in his career. It seems like there's a scandal brewing every time a black artist hits the headlines. From jaw-dropping accusations to being unfairly snubbed at award shows, it feels like there's a constant drama playing out behind the scenes. The latest buzz? It's almost as if these artists are cursed, struggling with shady allegations, receiving peanuts compared to their peers, or missing out on those coveted Oscars, while the world watches with bated breath. A chart-topping star drops a new hit, and suddenly they're hit with accusations that have fans and critics whispering about scandalous secrets and hidden agendas. But wait, there's more! Despite their groundbreaking work and massive influence, they're somehow left out of award ceremonies, while their non-black counterparts snag the trophies. And here's the kicker. Many of these artists seem to face a tragic end far too soon. The narrative often feels like a scripted drama where every success is met with a shadowy scandal or financial struggle, almost as if there's a hidden agenda at play. The world of entertainment seems to have a suspiciously long list of black artists who face more than their fair share of turmoil, and it's fueling whispers of a larger, more insidious conspiracy. And it seems like Chadwick was also the target of this agenda. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.